Okay, so what we're playing today is a deck built around Waste Not, a community design card from M15. This is a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, you make a 2/2 zombie. You discard a land card, you make 2 black mana. A non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. So, this has been a card in Modern that people have tried to build around for a while to varying degrees of success. There was actually kind of an interesting version around back when Lurrus was legal. We played for some Dota decks I thought was kind of cool. But, that being said, I do think that the card Sheoldred is a really interesting upgrade for the archetype, where the best card to pair with Waste Not is Burning Inquiry. Each player draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards at random. And Waste Not also makes a pile of black mana, which kind of reduces the cost on Sheoldred by a lot. Because Sheoldred is kind of a tough card to play. Modern, costs 4 mana, but when you're just kind of dumping that into play with your excess Waste Not mana, it becomes a lot better. So, to pair with Sheoldred, we're also playing Wheel of Fate, the suspend Wheel of Fortune from Time Spiral. You have 2 ways to cast this card besides just suspending it. You can either play it from Electrodominance, to just cast it from your hand for 2 mana, so 2 mana Wheel of Fortune. And what's kind of cool about a 2 mana Wheel of Fortune is, like, you don't, like, usually, like, this would be card disadvantage, Electrodominance on Wheel of Fate, but because it's Wheel of Fortune, you were going to lose, any additional cards anyways. And we also have no 1 or 0 mana spells besides Profane Tutor, Burning Inquiry, Wheel of Fate, besides, so that we can play Bloodbraid Marauder as a cascade spell. And so whenever you play Bloodbraid Marauder, you're either going to hit you're going to hit a payoff or like a card filtering spell if you want it. So you're either going to hit an Inquiry, a Wheel of Fate, or Profane Tutor, which can grab you an Inquiry. And with the Wheel of Fates and Burning Inquiries, Delirium is much more easily able to be online than you would see in other Bloodbraid Marauder shells. So, I think one thing that kind of looks weird here is we're playing Waste Not, we're not playing Thoughtseize, we're not playing Kolaghan's Command, we're not playing Kroxa. But those cards all kind of are mid. And the best way to take advantage of this card is to, again, wield them. Wheel of Fate, Burning Inquiry. These are the best ways to take advantage of it. And of course, the wheels play also really well with Sheoldred. And so instead of just trying to play like these cards in addition to like the dopey discard spells, I think it makes a lot more sense to like Bloodbraid Marauder into them, and then also Underworld Breach back Burning Inquiry. Breach was not in my first draft, but after playing like a couple matches, it became very clear that Underworld Breach was a card that I definitely needed to have, where Burning Inquiry fills up the graveyard really easily for Breach, even on the exact same turn. And you could use some kind of storm turns where you go like Breach, Inquiry, Manamorphose, filter 1 of the black mana into double red, Inquiry again, just keep going, maybe cast a Sheoldred that you're milling over, you get to go super duper crazy. And what's kind of cool too is that, cards like Wheel of Fate, Bloodbraid Marauder, Underworld Breach, if they're dead in the early game, you get to pitch them to Fury to stabilize a little bit. I had Grief in an earlier draft, but, like, one thing about Grief is, like, you really can never pitch Waste Not. Like, this is almost a card that I'm, like, just not counting as pitchable to Grief. And so your black card count for Grief is pretty low. And there isn't, I was playing them over Manamorphoses mostly. But the Manamorphoses, I think, are really important to make the Underworld Breaches work. And I think that I haven't been missing them too much. Let me think if there's any other important things to touch on here. I guess the biggest thing is Takenuma. This is the best Takenuma deck I've ever played, where a lot of times you have a lot of excess black mana with Waste Not, and then Takenuma being able to channel and get back a Marauder or a Sheoldred or Fury is really nice. But I think I had Surgical over Leyline, because I thought Surgical would be good with the wheels, but then I realized with Marauder it was a little bit of tension, so I decided to play Leyline instead. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into some games. Alright, let's keep this. Maybe the list would benefit shifting into Jund. You could get a good sideboard adding green instead of Electrodominance. You could play Violent Outburst. I don't mean you can't play Violent... Maybe you can play Violent Outburst, but like what you're cascading into is going to be so random. What's nice about Bloodbraid Marauder is that it's 2 mana. It will always cascade into like a big payoff instead of like hitting like Manamorphose or Breach sometimes, although... maybe be cutting Breach. Yeah, I did ring the bell. Yeah, when I was young, I'd go to 6th Street and like they would like I don't know, like one in 3 times there'd be gunshots, and that's too many times. Too old. Too old to fight the night. The night wins. So I think if they had Spell Pierce, they should have Spell Pierced Manamorphose. So I'm gonna slam a Waste Not here. Yeah, I'll 10-100 Burton. Hopefully they don't have like Leyline Binding. Okay, the Spell Pierce Curse has been broken. Spell Pierce Curse has been broken. No, their creativity, I think. Yeah. So I'll probably be furying this token before I cast the wheel. I want to get rid of it, make sure this token dies, and I've got some cards that are not doing much in the hand, huh? That being said, Burning Inquiry. Okay, I don't know how I messed that up. Fuck. I thought I clicked on the goblin. I guess I didn't click on the goblin. Sorry. Okay, I could cast Bloodbraid Marauder or just wheel here. I guess I'll just wheel. Put 4 damage on it? I don't know. Well, maybe we'll find another Fury. Bit annoying. So 6 black mana. We did find another Fury. Problem is we don't really have another payoff. I guess we can Electrodominance. Yeah, we can Electrodominance Profane Tutor to find a wheel next turn. So this really stinks that I just don't have a Fury and a Manamorphose here. But I do think that killing this is important enough for me to do this here. And then my opponent's gonna have a little bit of a tough time discarding the Fable with the double Waste Not in play potentially. Albino, 6 months, thank you. It was kind of bad. 80% of the deck is double red. Get double black for Waste Not, opponent discards. Yeah, for sure. The Manamorphoses can help a little bit, but keeping a red floating to Manamorphose can be tricky sometimes. So we're making 4 mana and then 2 zombies. Looks like a bug, maybe. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's watch the instant replay. I mean, I haven't played much Magic this weekend, so everything's falling out of my brain. This is where I like Grief, spinning our black mana, but Furious Brawl overall. You just don't have enough cards for Grief. I guess if you have Architects, it's better, but I straight up am not counting Waste Not as a black card. So it's you have 11 black cards, which is I think like at least 2 short, maybe a little bit more than that. But yeah, I think your black card count is just not high enough. The Filter Lens can also help with the Waste Not a little bit. So I need to float a red and keep this untapped. One more thing, I don't know. It's also whenever you have 4 floating mana, it's very easy to go, this is where I like the 4 mana black spell. I'm not too surprised. Not too surprised that this is where you like the 4 mana black spell. Okay, so we're making 4 mana, drawing 4 cards. Okay, so let's go red, and then Sheoldred. I guess we're gonna lose our mana, but Sheoldred, Inquiry. We're doing it. A little bit of lag. We're out of red mana though, so we may get a little stuck. But I think getting the life swing here is what's most important. I do feel like we've got a little bit of inevitability here. We may even draw double Fury if we're really lucky, which seems to not be the case. Drew actually had no more mana after that. Filter black into any, 1 red for 1 life. That card. So I wouldn't look at this, but yeah, vaguely. Yeah, what happened? Look, I didn't do anything wrong. Look at this. This is dumb. Like I straight up. There's 4 damage marked. I click OK. Magic Online is just like, nope. It's not gonna be that easy. Not gonna be that easy. No way. I think Dauthi might be a better sideboard card than Leyline. Seems like you can do insanes. I mean, Dauthi's okay. I think that, like, the mana efficiency of Leyline is mostly why I'm interested in it. You know, at 0 mana, but you could play Voidwalker instead. I think that would be fine. Why not attack with zombie? They have a blocker. I have 1 attacker. They have 1 blocker that blocks. Oh, but then I can Fury it. Yeah, should have attacked the zombie. Cape, 26 months. Thank you. Did I see Is It Prowess of Breach? Yeah, the winner tagged me in a tweet, which is very cool. He said that he had the list inspired by me, which is very nice for him to say. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna Manamorphose here or anything. So 1 less Waste Not, 1 more Blood Crypt in play. Alright, so Marauder has no bad hits for us here. This is what Profane. It's Inquiry, Profane, and then Wheel of Fate. Surely they don't have Leak plus Spell Pierce, yeah. Maybe I should have left up. The Cairns. Sorry, this is a little laggy. Ooh. You should probably always auto yield to this. Always yield to this. And then not much else we can do here, right? We get to attack with these. Oh, I guess we just attack and kill them. I'll cast another Waste Not. We're not killing them right now, but they'll die on their draw step. Breach Inquiry. I don't have enough red mana to Breach Inquiry. I have 2 black and a Blood Crypt. If I had left the Graven Cairns up, I could have done that. Takenuma Fury. Takenuma Fury, that was a good line, yeah. So I think I just want. So I might play 1 Fury. I might play 1 Leyline also. Moon is okay, but you really just can't over sideboard. So like your linear deck, we just can't afford to bring in like Orvars and Moons and Leylines. You can play like 1 Moon though, but it's worse on the draw. Should have channeled Takenuma Vortex. Yeah, I mean it's okay though. We did get there, but that was the better line. I agree. Then the line was also like worse if they somehow could kill the Sheoldred, which I guess they never can. Is Orvar the best sideboard into the creativity? I think Flusterstorm is better, or Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is really nice that it counters like Wrenn and 6 and Fable. But the index I can't play it, Orvar is really nice. And I also like that you can Profane Tutor for Orvars in this deck. Taya, so once again, thank you. Because the Mirror Murktide severely sucks. It has like really polarizing matchups, but it also like has a huge target on its head. I agree with that. Is Caress? I think the Sheoldred like mostly just replaces Caress. I think that Caress is like pretty underpowered. Sheoldred is a really powerful card, although maybe not one that lines up super well against Modern. But the ability to stabilize and gain life as opposed to just being an offensive cards like Caress, I think is a bit better. Caress is also like, you know, to some extent in my mind, just like outdated tech. This is kind of something you'll see sometimes where like Caress Waste Not versions have been around for a long time. Liliana's Caress is like in my mind almost always the worst card in those decks. So I'm kind of happy to just be able to cut it rather than, you know, clinging on to ancient tradition. Be nice if we had some more ways to filter black to red. Could you throw some Star Sphere in? I don't think it would be very easy to just throw stars or spheres in, or Jack-o'-lantern. Actually, you straight up can't if you're going to maintain Bloodbraid Marauder, and I think the Marauders are really good, so... it would require... I guess I would just cast through these. It would require some pretty serious changes to the list, I guess. It's not a bad idea. Like, Jack-o'-lantern maybe is the best option, but with Bloodbraid Marauder, like, we'd be playing other 1-drops before those, even. What's the theory behind Manamorphose? It does a few different things in the deck. It helps you with Delirium. It's better. It's good for your turns where you're making a ton of mana with Waste Not. You can filter some of the black into red. And then on your Underworld Breach turns, like, it's just Breach Manamorphose is good, but also... filtering the black mana on your, like, Waste Not Breach turns is pretty important as well. And it also, like, can, in theory, help with Delirium. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for... Yeah, I don't know how many filter lands we're supposed to be playing, either. Hoping to hit some lands here. Is that 2 lands? Wow, lucky, lucky. So let's go Manamorphose. Exile, exile, exile. Red, red. More lands? No, just Ancestral Recall. We'll take it. I'll accept an Ancestral Recall. Actually, let's go. Let's Manamorphose again. Hold on. Let's Manamorphose again. Exile 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to, I think, play Electrodominance to Wheel of Fate for 6 cards. Is that better? I guess I should cast this Inquiry. Okay, got 2 mana that time. I really need like 1 more mana if I'm going to Sheoldred first here. There's room for Grape Shot. Maybe. Maybe. Is there any world? I mean, dumping my entire hand in the yard is also like pretty good for fuel. But I think I need to maintain red mana here, so let's go. Electrodominance. I also haven't found a second Waste Not, which is kind of weird. Can exile one of the 2 Manamorphoses, one of the 2 Inquiries, and I guess a Sheoldred, since I'm going to be discarding one here. We're screwed if they persist the Iona. Well, they're screwed if they persist the Iona, because that's not a legal play. You can only persist non-legendary creatures. I guess one awkward thing is they're maybe like they're likely to have like find a counterspell at some point in all this, but they haven't yet. Draw a card, 2 mana, 2 mana, 2 mana. All right, that's great. 8 mana is just game, really. Okay, so let's go. Manamorphose. 1, 2, 3. Red, red. Then we can go Waste Not, Sheoldred, Inquiry. Okay, only have 13 cards in our library. That should be enough. It should be enough. Although it gets a bit awkward actually because I have to like draw cards off my Waste Not. I have to be careful not to deck myself here. Oh, Electrodominance the face. Wow. Love it. That works. Fireball. Can I pay for Spell Pierce? I'm 1 mana short of paying for Spell Pierce. So I guess I'll just leave 2 mana available. And then, yeah, they'll die on their draw step. Okay, I guess I have nothing left. That was the match? Oh, Orvar does, yeah, what is Orvar's text again? Cast it for sorcery. If it targets one or more other permanents you control, copy it. Interesting. Cool. Well, that was definitely the nuttiest turn I've had. Turn 3 Storm Kill. I thought Sheoldred's bad. Sheoldred's a lot better in decks like this that don't care about card quantity and have like a lot of extra black mana and are wheeling. Sheoldred is, I think, not good as just like a fair 4-drop, but in a deck like this, you can play it. When I'm arguing on Twitter with someone. Ooh, Boggles. I played against Boggles yesterday, actually, and crushed them. Twitter argument 1. No, Light Paws. I guess I can Fury that probably. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll go second Waste Not, Fury, pitch Bloodbraid Marauder, kill the Light Paws. And then we can Castle Locthwain next turn if we don't draw anything to do. Yeah, Boggles I don't think is a very good deck. I think it's the kind of deck that you can kind of delude yourself into thinking is well positioned because you recognize that people play a lot of removal, but there's a lot of cards that are really incidentally great against you. Dress Down, Shadow Spear, or just Urza Saga, Engineered Explosives, Path of Peril. There's a lot of cards. The Colossus Hammer is also just really hard for you to raise, so you can play like a lot of Force of Vigors. It's just tough for Boggles up there. I don't think Boggles is very good. What would make it better? What does it need? I don't know. I mean, higher card quality probably is kind of a boring answer, but it's maybe the right answer. These cards I just described to not see play in the meta. So like an Urza Saga ban would be huge for Boggles because there'd be no more Shadow Spear. Maybe Hammer Time would still play it, although the removal is less relevant. Okay, I'm not going to be able to draw a card, so I'll suspend this, but we're likely going to die. We'll see. Thank you, Avian. Yeah, temporary lockdown. IDK most players have read Shadow Spear's full text. Yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, a lot of players are going to miss that Shadow Spear removes Hexproof, but at least as far as deck evaluation goes, you have to assume that people are playing correctly. Okay, this is 9 damage. They should stack their canopy to try to. This was a. They should. A lot of Boggle players too. Like they kind of like pick up the deck and don't sequence perfectly. Okay, this is not ticking down to 0. We have a few outs here. This is not one of them. Guess we could have gone out on our own accord. That being said, I think the matchup is pretty good, and we get to bring in Path of Peril as well. So I think it's just going to be in 3 Path of Peril, out 3 Fury. You can play Blood Moon. Blood Moon's okay against them. I think I want the first Fury because they showed us Light Pulse, though, and I don't want to over-sideboard. I don't know. Boggles is also not a deck that I am crying over not being well positioned. Doesn't Path just hit one of their armors? Well, they don't always have armor, right? I don't know what you want. You are gonna board in, destroy all creatures mana value 2 or less 100% of the time against boggles. Every single time you'll board in every single number of you as you have. They will have an armor sometimes, and sometimes they won't have an armor, and this is just literally 3 mana win the game. But you know, it's what deck am I crying over? Humans, I guess, because that seems to be what everybody's really upset about. Okay, put on something mold to 6. I don't think Leyline affects totem armor. I'm like 99% sure. Yeah, I think Boggles is a good deck for people to start with. I agree. Favorite Humans was super fun to play. Yeah, it was a very popular deck. It was a very popular deck. Like, honestly, like a lot of Reddit opinions on Modern really like translate to opinions on Humans. Like yeah, prismatic ending, stopped Aether Vial decks. Well, there are good Aether Vial decks, but Humans isn't very good. And Fury kill creature decks. There's a lot of good creature decks, but Humans isn't very good. It's just that's kind of how I feel. Okay, I'm gonna suspend Profane Tutor this turn. The next turn I can go Waste Not plus Inquiry, and then the following turn have a Profane Tutor come down. I don't think I want to register Dark Deal. You could play 1 copy, but card's pretty weak. That's true. The Mardu Pyromancer players are still weeping in the streets, mourning the loss of looting. Voice Demons. Yeah, Kiki Pod, really cool. I don't know, like you could there's Kiki Cord that was viable for a while when Yorion was around. Not really viable anymore, but in my experience in Magic, decks eventually come back around for the most part. Not all of them, but most of them do. Right, land, card, okay. So we discarded our Profane Tutor, which we could have used the mana to spin. Okay, they discard double Coronet, which kind of explains why they haven't been doing anything. Okay, so I think I'm very likely, with these draws, I'm very likely to Wheel of Fate in my upkeep before this Profane Tutor comes down. Or I'll just Profane Tutor for Path of Peril if they're just gonna, you know, if they don't have anything that beats Path of Peril. Like a Spider Umbra. Ever considered 1 Kinrith and 1 White Lotus Field? I haven't played a lot of standards, so Kinrith is okay. So if I do Path of Peril though, it kills this Boggle and both of their auras, and then I'm free to like Wheel of Fate the following turn. I think that's probably right. Well, that's a pretty good draw. We're dropping a Blood Crypt or 2, adding Gemstone Cavern be worth it in terms of explosiveness. Would the disadvantage be too much? You could play 1. I don't think you'd ever play 2. I also don't know that it would be. I would be more likely to cut a fetch land, but maybe not a fetch land. I'm not 100% sure. I guess on which land to cut. The issue that like it tapping for colorless really stinks. It's really bad. That's my biggest issue. Although it is also true that you have Manamorphose, so maybe it's not as big a deal as I think. How is Sheoldred better than Caress in the Solitude world? Yeah, how does card that gets answered by card be better than shitty 2-drop? The fact that Sheoldred gains you life is just such a big deal, and that Sheoldred is like a card that's like can win the game through a rest in peace is just such a big deal. The card quality is just so high. Okay, am I gonna Wheel of Fate right now? I kind of think I'm supposed to do it on their instep. Yeah, I know too. I think I feel pretty comfortable just doing the 2 minutes, but we'll see. We'll see. Esther is unemployed, but we're doing fine, and I think she'll be re-employed any day now. Okay, maybe I'll Path of Peril again. We'll see what they do. Not in draw step. Not in draw step. Then they get to take their turn with 7 cards in their hand. I think that's probably pretty bad. I mean, it's just kind of hard not to cast this. Doesn't Path only trade for an Umbra? We did draw 3, to be fair. Having a job, I thought it was sick. There's a lot going on, but she got laid off. It was also like not a very good environment, and she's been interviewing for another job. It's been a couple months, but she's got a lot of irons in the fire. Why didn't I wheel it in the last turn? Because I wanted to cast the Path of Peril instead. I think for the most part, if you could just like kill the Boggle, like there's just a really good chance that they can't do anything, and you get to buy a lot of time. Any thoughts to Bergie letting you loop Inquiry, Dominance, Tutor, Wheel with Breach? I think it's likely a little bit win more, where for Bergie to be good, you have to have like Waste Not plus Breach plus Inquiry, plus like the 3 mana for Bergie. So I think it's like just a little bit too much. What was the Kinrith thought? I just kind of don't view Kinrith as a modern playable card, but I also like haven't played much with it because it's not a modern playable card. You know what I mean? So it could be better than I think. That's my main thought. What do you think about the new Nihiri and Red White Stoneblade? I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, so this does let me, assuming I still have that 4th Blood Crypt in the deck. This does let me Sheoldred plus Wheel of Fate next turn. Oh, I still have the Mountain also. If only the Luris was still legal, huh? Yeah, new Nihiri is very, very interesting. Oh, another Boggle, so they're going to Rancor also. Yeah, new Nihiri is really good, I think. We'll see. It's kind of a hard card to evaluate, of course. Breach would be pretty good here. I think it's gonna end up being better just to wheel, and I'll gain 14. They'll lose 14. New Nihiri and Greasefang. Yeah, I don't know if it's still something if you're gonna play modern Greasefang, but the card's pretty good. It's like easily the best of the new Planeswalkers so far. Started saving my chest for when Phyrexian comes out. I mean, people always say this, but the issue is like it like never ends up working out in my experience. It's like every single time I save the chest, I'll save like hundreds of chests, and I like straight up won't open like any like playable decks worth of cards. But we'll see. Yeah, you could play Dothi over Leyline of the Void. I think that Leyline being 0 does matter a lot, though. Why don't I sell my chests? Well, I opened them. Opening them for play points is better EV than selling them. I care about the play points because I do a lot of off-stream testing and brewing, and I do a lot of like dropping in my testing, so I can make it a bit more efficient. So I really care about play points, and also like opening the chest is content. It's not like amazing content, but people do enjoy watching you open chests, and so like that does have value to me, you know. It's also fun for me. I enjoy opening them because of gambling, I guess. This is Xaxes on their draw step. It's the exact same amount of damage no matter when we do it. It's always going to be 14. You just win now? It looks like it. Yeah, my opponent does have 7 cards in their hand, though. Do you remember what has been my best chest without full set? Without full set? I don't know. They've all my best chests set like I don't know. I don't think I've had any crazy like double chase cards in the same chest, or if I have, I don't know because I usually just open them all at the same time. Oops. Well, full sets. I don't know. I've opened I think 5 full sets. I can't even really remember which ones because I just sell them usually. No, I don't usually redeem them. Like, redeeming them in theory sounds good, but like you'll like basically never be able to sell them, and you'll basically never like use them either. At least I won't. I'll say maybe not never, but in my experience, they're really hard to sell. I was given one for the 25th anniversary Pro Tour. I got Hour of Devastation, I think, and I ended up selling it to a buddy of mine for pretty cheap, but like it was like I also got lucky because he's like, oh, I want to build a Nicol Bolas EDH deck, and this is perfect. You have a foil full set of Hour of Devastation, which was like even lucky that I was able to find somebody that wanted to buy it. Hollow One not worth it. Hollow One could be good. Hollow One could be good. One issue with it is you only have I guess you have Wheel of Fate too. It could be good. I don't feel like it's exactly what this deck is trying to do. I think that it's like kind of a random 4/4 body in a deck that's kind of trying to storm combo finish, which is not the worst idea. You could sideboard it even. I don't know though. Well, we have a Path of Peril. I'll keep this. Not amazing. When a Voidwalker, I mean, I'm playing Leyline over Voidwalker. Voidwalker could be better. I think it's a little weird on the mana curve. You're really clumped up at 2 already. Leyline being 0 mana matters a lot, and like you need like the graveyard portion of Leyline matters like a lot. Where like if you're dumping your opponent's graveyard into the yard and they're a graveyard focused deck, it can just be disastrous. If that makes sense. Yeah, I think Collective Defiance is a little underpowered. It's obviously an option, but I think it would be a worse enabler than the enablers we currently have. So like instead of like playing Collective Defiance to give redundancy, what I'm doing in this list is I'm choosing to play okay, Audacity is not an Umbra at least, but maybe we'll draw them into one. As what I'm doing instead is I'm choosing to play this is... Sorry, I thought this was the Curiosity effect. I keep losing my train of thought, sorry. Like usual. I'm choosing to play Bloodbraid Marauder. So Bloodbraid Marauder is going to be able to cascade into your like good enablers, your Burning Inquiry and your Wheel of Fate and Profane Tutor for Burning Inquiry. And so like in that way you kind of just get an extra copy of all of these effects, which in my opinion is better than okay, hopefully they just play Daybreak Coronet. Umbra's pretty bad for me. Umbra Eyes would be for 9. I'm just dead. When was the last time I ran into Boggles? Last night. I don't know if like it did well at a tournament or something. I think I have no outs. Man, losing to Boggles stinks. I beat them last night pretty handily. We even milled over a Sentinel Eyes for value. Alright, Umbra too good. Hyena Umbra too good. Bummer. How long am I going today? I don't know. I got back. I just had a weekend trip, so it's gonna be a little bit different today, maybe. Well, it looks like we're up against Dredge, which is everybody's favorite matchup to see. Waste Not is kind of good against... The card Waste Not is kind of good against Dredge. Burning Inquiry is one of the worst cards you could ever play against them. I have 4 Leylines on my sideboard, though. The ERC might help me find some things. Well, again, like, you just can't play... Like, Bloodbraid Marauder, I think, is really important. So, like, again, instead of having, like, redundant, like, worse versions of Wheel of Fate and Burning Inquiry, you have Bloodbraid Marauder to hit these cards more often. So, like, that's something I really like. And so I'm not a big fan of... Yeah, we always find Dredge. We have 4 Leylines this time, so it's hard to feel too upset. So I think like Marauder is going to end up being better than like any like Collective Defiance suggestion or anything else. And like Breach plus Inquiry is also like a better enabler than like really anything else. So I know that's not exactly what you're suggesting here. But I mean it kind of is if you're suggesting losing the Marauder, right? They whiffed kind of. I mean, they have a Ox of Agonis in their yard. But I would say that's this is one of the... Yeah, it's not very good for 27 cards. Could you play Grief, Malakir, Birth, and yeah, you could be Scam instead. You could be just like regular Scam. I thought it was a little bit less interesting. Someone said Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, literally, like, which... Like, this is also, like, a tough thing about playing New Brews on stream, right? Is that when I play a New Brew on stream, a big chunk of it is just being yelled cards that don't quite fit into the deck. Cards I've already considered. Not Phoenix, but basically all these other cards I've already considered. And, like, with no suggestion for what to cut for them. And it's just... It can be very difficult to sift through these kind of suggestions, if that makes sense. Well, I'm gonna cast it. I may be boarding them out, I don't know. The Wheel of Fates are also really miserable. I think I'm just gonna mulligan the Leyline, I guess. Maybe I'll deck them. It's like weirdly viable here. Okay, 2 zombies and 2 cards. Yeah, so if I draw a red source, I'll probably cast Marauder and just try to find a Wheel of Fortune. Maybe not one I have to fetch and shock for, though. Okay, how many Creeping Chills? Oh, they've already done 4 Creeping Chills. I mean, one awkward thing about this line is also that if I miss, it's bad. And I'm dead to Conflagrate. Okay, well... Kind of dead to Conflagrate no matter what. Alright, we'll just put the Wheel of Fate into our hand to Electrodominance next turn, and then... This is maybe even for the best. Like, I think this game is just going to be all about dodging the Conflagrate and trying to deck them next turn. Yeah, so they're down to 10 cards here. Yeah, no Conflagrate in the yard right now. How does my opponent have 37 cards in the yard, and all they were able to garner was an Archemy? I mean, they also quadruple Creeping Chilled me, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if they're just not playing it, then that's also kind of best case scenario. Now, I want to be able to draw another red source, or I could also go Waste Not, all the Waste Not triggers in the world. But then I'm never able to deck them if I take that line. So I think I should just Electrodominance Wheel. Though we go down to 3 cards in their library. So it goes off Conflagrate. So weird. I don't really know. Winning game 1 would be so odd also. But this is like some of the worst dredging I've literally ever seen in my entire life. I had a Croaks in my earlier draft. I think it's like the worst card by a lot. It's just like not you're like trying to do really unfair things, and Croaks is like a fair card that's not going to win you the game when your unfair things have failed. Is my current thought on the matter. Well, it's all creatures or all creatures in 1 card. No Conflagrate though. Y'all are right. I mean, I don't know what they can do. They only have 3 cards left in their library. They're dead next turn. Got army of zombies. And I have 4 Leyline in the sideboard. So people don't play Conflag because it takes the Ox spot, and against combo Conflagrate's worse. Well, I mean, isn't it usually just 2 Ox, 1 Conflagrate? Like, I think the first Conflagrate... I have it's weird. It's really weird to me to even like consider cutting it, but that's how decks are sometimes. Like, you'll think a card is a sacred cow that can never be cut, like the first copy of Conflagrate, and it ends up just being fine to cut. Now, Breach does not let you escape Wheel of Fate, but boy, would it be you'd be really broken. You'd have seen it before, or like you'd hear me like screaming about it nonstop. All right, well, no, they had no way. They have Conflagrate. It was the bottom card. It was in the bottom 3 cards. That was so lucky. This was insanely lucky to win this game. Holy shit. gotta pause for a second there. Okay, I think I'm just gonna be out 4 Manamorphose and 4 Leyline. Awesome, Iris. Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to work on Mono Red Marauder too. If you have like a draft, I actually might be interested in taking a look. Is Mill vs Dredge like Shadow vs Burn? No, it's just like a nightmare on both sides. Shadow and Burn is Shadow versus Burn is like a beautiful waltz. Mill versus Dredge is like a mosh pit. It's just all chaos, and I'm scared. Alright, Portal Model 6, me too. Against Dredge, double Leyline, I guess. I guess we'll keep it. Don't try to draw Electrodominance. Let's go! Turn 0 win. Let's go. Man, I can't believe we lost to Boggles. We should be 3-0 right now. Sideboard Leylines. Sodic is so funny to me. Sodic is like the dredge guru, the dredge god. And every time he sees a list on Twitter with four Leylines, he like runs interference. He does propaganda. He's like, it's crazy that this list is playing 4 copies of Leyline of the Void. You absolutely do not need 4 copies of Leyline of the Void in this current meta. This is ridiculous. But he's like, it's just dredge propaganda. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. It's just dredge propaganda. So they graveyarded Mutagenic Growth. It'll be like really, really bad for me if my opponent has one here. I won't be able to kill the Sprite Dragon with my Fury. No matter what. So I guess I'm going to go 3 damage here, 1 damage here. So if they Mutagenic Growth the Channeler, they have to find Delirium in order to save it, which they can't even do. But if I do 2-2, then that doesn't work. Obviously, we're just hoping no Mutagenic Growth, and we're in good shape. Sheoldred is also probably pretty good in this matchup. Maybe not. Maybe it is. Leyline's fine. I don't. Yeah, like even if like Sodic is right, my main point is like even if Sodic is right, like that a list shouldn't have 4 Leyline of the Void. Who is the narrator here? Who is telling you this? The dredge guy. It's the dredge guy telling you don't play Leyline in your sideboard. You just can't listen to him. you can't trust the dredge player to tell you when or when not to play Leylines in your sideboard. What goes in decision to add Graven Cairns? In this deck, you being able to filter black mana into red is really, really nice. And also we don't have any 1-drops, so like this costs you less than it usually does. Yeah, I think Leyline's good right now too, but again, Sodic is not someone you could trust on the matter. like one of the most like biased voices on the issue I've ever seen. Yeah, as a hammer player, how are you playing all these Force Vigors? You're crazy. You're crazy, girl. Alright, let me get some resiliency to their breach plan here. Fortify our defenses. I don't think we're dying. They're going to draw a lot of cards. They'll be okay. One issue also to wearing this helmet is that it really smells like rust. needs a good cleaning. Yeah, I was out of town this weekend in Austin, and there was like a vintage sale event that my friend took us to, and it was had this there, and I was like, and Esther bought it for me. It's like a really nice helmet. It's really nice. It's got leather interior. The inside is clean. It just like needs a little bit of scraping down. I can't really see through it though. Sheeps, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, I really wanted to stream Dark Souls with the helmet, but the issue is I can't see through it. So I was thinking maybe it might be best to like remove these like metal stripes here. then I would have most of my range of vision. But we'll see. I don't know how, it's not going to be easy to do that either. I don't know, the helmet maybe will look less cool. So we get our Profane Tutor down, they get to draw 4 cards. I think Breach might be getting the X. I don't know. Again, this is super important to internalize. This is a super important thing for all Magic players to understand, is that Wizards mostly does things at random. I think I just have to take Waste Not, right? Wizards mostly does things at random, so you just can't bet on anything. Alright, probably dead. Yeah, I could wear it for like a normal run, that's true. Ever try building a Flame of Kel deck? I've registered that card a few times, sure. Could it be the height of the eye holes? The helmet actually fits great. The helmet actually fits great. It's snug, but like I think the eye holes are at a good spot. The problem is like these metal bars. Like I have to see through the metal bars, which will be really good for protecting my face from a slash attack, maybe not a stab as much. But that's the issue with seeing through them. Look kind of dead. Yeah, I'm feeling kind of dead. Get the Sheoldred trigger again. We are not dead. I don't know if we're alive. We're alive if we draw. We could just win if we draw Wheel or Inquiry here. Another copy of Electrodominance, huh? It's a bit of a bummer. They have 5 cards in their hand. Oh, we had so many outs. Maybe not. Maybe not as many as I thought. We could also draw Marauder, and then this would have let us have a Delirious Marauder. It was such a gift for us to be able to untap this turn, and we just were not able to utilize this gift. They have 5 cards. Yeah, they have the Cust of Burning Cream. What Rhino's a player on hate? I don't know. I mean, like, so like if we're talking about Graveyard Hate, like Graveyard Hate turns off Marauder from being able to cast Rhino, so you can only cast it off Electrodominance. I think we're just like, you know, not there yet, right? All right, that's gonna get me. To game 2 we go. Another good Path of Peril matchup. Leyline's solid against them. It turns off their Channeler Delirium, Underworld Breach, Lava Dart Flashback. It's maybe over sideboarding, but the Morphoses can come out. Can trim a Profane Tutor. Can probably trim Shielded 4, Breach 4. Maybe not all 4 Leyline. I think you want 4. Yeah, maybe not all 4, but again, they're not like super dead in the hand because we're wheeling and stuff. Yeah, but I don't mind trimming a Sheoldred. I don't mind trimming a Breach. I don't mind trimming a Profane Tutor, so that's kind of all fine too. Keep this hand in some matchups. Thinking it's Prowess. This is going to be a mulligan, and this is going to be a keep. We're going to put back the second copy of Breach. I think what we'll do is we'll just get a tapped copy of Blood Crypt, and then if we draw a land, great, we get to slam Waste Not. If not, we probably just YOLO a Burning Inquiry. Yeah, I think Dark Deal is too underpowered. Again, like, instead of redundancy with like underpowered cards like Dark Deal, Collective Bargain, I think you're just supposed to play Marauder instead. At least that's the idea behind this build. Okay, well, we lost our Waste Not and our Breach, which were our best 2 cards, but we did find lands, which are maybe better cards even. Discarded 2 more, or discarded Iteration, Swiftspear, Scalding Tarn. Probably not that important. Dark Deals Castle with Waste Mana though. I know it's also like an incredibly weak version of the wheel effect. You know what I mean? What are the advantages of Path of Peril? It kills Sanctifier and Vec, which is really important for the old black-red deck, you know. Well, so spending Profane Tutor and likely dying, unfortunately. Yeah, Wasteland does work when you have Leyline in play still. They read Mara's spoilers. I usually don't read Mara's spoilers. They're like kind of cool, but just like not usually in like the riddle solving mood, I guess. All right. Can't flush it back, but just the front half is lethal. So we're 2 and 2. Let's see if we can get a 3-2 here. I think we got a little unlucky against the Boggles. Pretty lucky against Dredge. Probably about average luck against Prowess there. We can keep this. Put back the second tutor. Misty Reinforce is a scary card to see. Magician, 17 months, thank you. Look back. Misty into Rogran Trio, no companion. So let's see if we find Renin 6 here. Maru spoiled a card that had already been officially spoiled. That's funny. I don't think we've lost every die roll. My opponent is also playing 80 cards, I just noticed. My opponent is literally playing 80 cards. Alright. Wait, I do like this deck cares like a little bit less about card advantage and just kind of able to like Fury early and recoup later with wheels and stuff. Wasn't lucky in my Boggles match. I had Path of Peril, and they both had a turn 4 kill and a totem armor, which is maybe normal, I guess, but it felt a little unlucky. Okay, this is not good though. Teferi is so good against me, against my Electrodominance and my Cascade and my Suspend. It is actually a huge issue. 80 cards, by the way. They're literally 80 cards, by the way. Me, I still. It's not fair. Fuck, I can't be 80 cards, by the way, after the Yorion ban. Just literally, oh my gosh. Lumbering Falsehood once, thank you. Yeah, Yorion was never the issue. Can you do 4 1-minute commercial breaks every 15 minutes to get the incentive? That's more palatable than 4-minute blocks. I almost feel like that's worse. I don't think I'm gonna do the 4-minute incentive this time. It's just maybe one day, but and maybe I don't know. I'll consider it some more. But I think that an ad every 15 minutes is worse than 1 4-minute ad every hour. But I also think 4 minutes of ads is too much anyways. Yeah, they banned Yorion. It was a while ago. Yeah, if you sub, you never see him. So I don't get my Profane Tutor. Am I allowed to run commercials in the corner of my stream so I talk really loudly over them? So so I think I don't know if this is how it works on mobile because I don't watch on mobile very often, but when you get an ad, like you can still see the screen, you just can't hear anything, and it's I mean it's not as good, but all right, let's go just go to game 2. You can still see things, you just can't hear things, and the screen is smaller. At least that was the change I had seen last time. I mean, Blood Moon is like just really not that good against the old Yorion deck. I might just run it back. Yeah, product placements would be fun. And again, you know, the whole like I know a lot of people wouldn't mind the 4-minute ads, but the thing is like for a stream to succeed and continue, I always think you have to think about it in the long run. And like 4 minutes of ad an hour is just is like just really not like a good environment for people that are either like less enfranchised than others, or people that are just finding the stream for the first time. I really do believe it. That is just not a very good environment for those kinds of viewers. Like everybody starts watching a streamer more casually. They'll tune in the first time, tune back in later, and eventually get more and more invested or less and less invested. And like I think like you always need to, like, to some extent, cater to the newer people. And that involves not playing Dark Souls. You can see it go off. Yeah, we've gone off a couple times this league. That's not very good against Teferi. Yeah, all 4 minutes is once. Yeah, exactly. You can control when they happen. Yes and no. Yes and no. It's like if there's not a good time for it, they happen automatically. And last time, like, I tried to run them automatically, or like I tried to do them manually, and sometimes people would still get ads, which is a bit weird. Because that's also the thing with like the ad incentive program is like you just don't know exactly how you don't have complete control over like anything. And also, like, you know, another thing with the ad incentive program though is even if like even when I set my ads to 0, like you'll still get ads. Like you'll still get pre-rolls, you'll still get intermittent ads, even when I have nothing enabled. Like this month, I have nothing enabled. The end of last month, after I met the streamed hours, I had nothing enabled. People would still get ads. And there's just nothing you can do about it, which is tough. Alright, so we're going to waste not this next turn, probably. If this opponent had a forest, they'd have fetched it there. My opponent definitely has a forest in their deck. At the very least, I think this was just a mistake. I can't imagine that in their 80 card Yorion deck they're not playing Abundant Harvest deck, they're not playing a basic forest. $80 cards, by the way, no. Do you have a limit? I'm just gonna concede. Do you have a limit to ad revenue? I don't know what that means.